Hello boys and girls, we're going to do a magic trick. I have a coin here. See, it's a regular 50-cent piece. It's gone.
Hi, how you doing? Are you out there having fun? Oh, well, you're watching TV. Well, maybe that's fun for you, is watching TV. And today, I'm gonna read you a story. I got this at one of those little libraries. You know, they have all those free little libraries. And this one's Tales from Aesop. And Aesop was a really wise guy that wrote all these great stories a long time ago. And I don't know when he lived because I didn't memorize all that stuff. But anyways, this one is called The Hare and the Tortoise. And this is about these two animals that went racing. And, you know, everyone thought the hare would win because, you know, hares are really fast and tortoises are really slow. But let me read the story and let's find out what really happened. The hare was making fun of the tortoise. "What a slow poke," said the hare. "Your legs are so short, I'm surprised that they ever get you anywhere. Just look at my long legs." "Never mind," replied the tortoise. "I can get around well enough. If you like, I'll race you to the pond." The hare laughed. "Ha ha ha ha! That is funny," at the idea of running a race with the tortoise. But for the sake of good joke, he agreed. The animals of the forest gathered around to watch. There was like all sorts. Here's a picture. Can you see that? Yes. They had a raccoon and a crow and some chipmunks and a mouse and a blue jay. And they were all watching the race, and even there was even an owl. And anyways, when the hare and the tortoise were ready, the owl gave the starting signal by flapping his wings. And then the hare took off. The hare, of course, quickly shot out of sight. But that did not bother the tortoise. He just went slowly and steady on his way. The tortoise continued to plod slowly and steady. Down the road, he passed many of his friends. He even passed the sleeping hare. There's some pictures. I don't know if you can see them very good. After running a short time, the hare grew tired. "I may as well as rest," he said. "I'm tired," he said. But before the hare knew it, he had fallen asleep. But the tortoise never stopped, not even to get a cool drink of water. He just kept going and going down the hot, dusty road. The hare did not wake up until the tortoise had almost reached the pond. And then the hare raced down the road as fast as his long legs would take him, but he was too late. The tortoise crossed the finish line before the hare could catch him. And the moral of the story is, slow and steady wins the race. Or don't take a sleeping break until your job is done.
I'm not sure about it. Like, come on.
Hi, how you doing? You ever want to just be friendly? I wrote a song about being friendly. It's called Hi, How Are You? Hi, how are you? Hi, how are you? Hi, how are you? Good to meet you, good to meet you. I like friends, you like friends, we all like some friends. I need friends, you need friends, we all need some friends. You ain't got no one for your friend. Come on over and visit me, we'll be friends. Hi, how are you? Hi, how are you? Hi, how are you? Good to meet you, good to meet you. How are you? Hope you're having a good day.
Yeah.
Hi, boys and girls, we're gonna do Craft Corner. Aren't you excited? Okay, so what I did was I took a cereal box, sugar frosted flakes, and I made it into a theater like this. Just put in curtains and glued box, glued on a piece of paper with a star and some waves on it, and it stands on its own, stands up without falling down. And then I went to Google and I typed in Little Red Riding Hood character images, and I printed off this. I was looking for something that didn't have an oil or didn't have a watermark on it. This one is really good. It doesn't have a watermark on it, and so I was able to use those characters on straws. So I put them on straws. I glued them on, and I can do a story now in my little play. So we have Little Red Riding Hood. Da, 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 da. She's hopping through the woods. She's going to go to Grandma's house. And the wolf meets up with her. The wolf meets up with Little Red Riding Hood. And they talk about where they're going to go. And Little Red Riding Hood says she's taking her treats to Grandma's house. And the wolf wants the treats. So the wolf races away and gobbles up Grandma. No, maybe she doesn't gobble up Grandma. Anyway, he's in bed with Grandma. Or not with Grandma. He's in bed looking like Grandma. So finally Little Red Riding Hood comes along and says, what big eyes you have, better to see you with. What big ears you have, better to hear you with. What big teeth you have, better to eat you with. So Little Red Riding Hood screams, and along comes the woodsman and the hunter, and the hunter kills the wolf. Ah! And Grandma comes back, and Red Riding Hood gives her the treats. The end. So you can make a theater for the summer. Okay, that's Craft Corner. Bye. Okay.
Okay, it's summer, and there's a lot of fun things to do. Like, how about throwing a frisbee? We ain't got nothing else to do. My friends all hanging around me too. Here's something really cool. Let's go throw the frisbee. Let's go throw the frisbee. Let's go throw the frisbee. Looks like kind of like UFO. Oh no, I caught it with my toe. Betty Sue and even Joe. Let's go throw the frisbee. Let's go throw the frisbee. When I ain't got nothing else to do. My friends all hanging around me too. Here's something really cool. Let's go throw the frisbee. 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 You and me and everyone out in the shade or out in the sun. Hey, it's really fun. Let's go throw the frisbee. Let's go throw the frisbee. Let's go throw the frisbee.
Hi, boys and girls. We're going to talk about a book from the library. This is Silly and Sillier. Told by Judy Sierra. Illustrated by Valerie Gorbachev. Read aloud tales from around the world. I'm going to read you some tales. Jack was born to a family of noodleheads, numbskulls, and ninny-hammers. So when his father decided to build a house, Jack was worried. Still, it turned out to be a good, solid house. It was perfect, in fact, except for one thing. It was dark inside, said Jack's father. Fetch a bucket, son, and help me haul sunlight into the house. Jack and his father ran in and out, dumping buckets full of sunlight on the floor, but the house was just as dark as before. You know, Dad, said Jack, if you make some windows, that'll let in the sunlight. Why didn't you say so, said Jack's father. He grabbed a saw and cut out windows of all the walls, and he and Jack went to buy glass to put in their new windows and left the saw lying on the ground. When Jack and his father came home, they found Jack's mother crying her eyes out. Look at that saw there on the ground, Jack's mother sobbed. Suppose our Jack gets married and has a baby, and the baby crawls along and cuts himself on that saw. Jack's brother Tom jumped up. I'll punish that saw right now, he shouted. I'll drown that saw before it can hurt Jack's poor little baby. Jack watched his brother pick up the saw, carry it to the river, and drop it in the water. He shook his head in disbelief. You threw away a perfectly good saw, said Jack. I didn't think anyone in the world as silly as my family. I'm leaving, and I won't come back until I meet 3 bigger sillies than you. Jack put on his coat, his hat, and his boots and set off down the road. Around sunset, he knocked on the door of an inn and asked for a room. Would you like something to eat before you go to bed? The innkeeper asked. I'll have a hard-boiled egg, Jack answered. Soon the most horrible sounds came from the kitchen. Squawk, squawk, squawk. Jack ran to see what was happening. There was the innkeeper holding a pot of boiling water in one hand and a hen in the other. Squawk, 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 screeched the hen. The innkeeper shook his head. How can I make you a hard-boiled egg, he asked, when my hen won't drink this boiling water? So Jack had to teach the innkeeper how to make an egg and cook it in a pan of boiling water. That's one silly, said Jack, and he went to his room and lay down on the bed. He tried to sleep, but he couldn't because he was so cold, and that was because the blanket only came up to his waist. When he pulled it up under his chin, his feet stuck out at the bottom. Jack called the maid and said, Please bring me a longer blanket. No, no, said the maid, I'll just make this one longer. She cut a strip off the bottom of the blanket and sewed the strip to the top of the blanket. It's longer now, she said. You, said Jack, are silly number 2. Early the next morning, a loud noise rattled the ceiling above Jack's bed. Thump, 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 wham. Thump, 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 wham. He rushed upstairs to see what was the matter. He couldn't believe his eyes. The man had hooked the top of his trousers over 2 chairs and ran across the room, thump, 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 and tried to jump into the trousers, but every time he jumped, he landed flat on the floor. Wham! Jack had to teach the man how to sit on the edge of the bed and put his legs into his pants one at a time. So that's how you do it, the man said. He thanked Jack for his help. That makes 3 sillies, said Jack, and he went back home, and he said as he said he would. I heard that Jack and Tom opened a shop, and they're doing very well for themselves, selling used ice cream cones, square bowling balls, and fireproof matches to all the other sillies in the town. And you should get this book called Silly and Sillier. Read aloud tales from around the world. Told by Judy Sierra. And there's a lot more silly stories in here. There's Toony Bird from Bangladesh. There is Clever Manny from Bahamas. And that one's like Rumpelstiltskin. And then you have the Magical Mice from Japan. The Coyote and the Lizard It's a Pablo Indian story. How about I read this one? Down by Laguna Pablo, there was a large sandstone rock that overhangs the road. A lizard once lived on the sunny side of the rock, and all day long he sang, "Moki, moki, 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 hanging rock is here, a happy home for me." The coyote was going along and he heard the lizard song. Now, everything nice or pretty that someone else has, the coyote wants for himself, so he wanted that song. "I must get the lizard to teach me that song," he said. Then he jumped onto the rock. "Good morning, my friend. You're such a good singer and your song is so pretty. I wish you could teach it to me." "I will," said the lizard, and she sang, "Moki, moki, 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 hanging rock is here, a happy home for me." "Thank you, my friend," said the coyote. Away he trotted, singing as he went. "Moki, moki, 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 hanging rock is here, a happy home for me." He passed by a pond where some wild ducks were feeding. He didn't see the ducks, but they saw him. They flew up in the air, flapping their wings and quacking. The noise frightened the coyote so badly that he forgot his song. "Moki, moki, moki," he sang. "No, that's not right." "Makey, makey, makey." "No, that's not it." He trotted back to the hanging rock. "My friend," said the coyote, "I have forgotten the song you taught me. Won't you please sing it again?" The lizard sang her song again. The coyote ran along the road singing, "Moki, moki, 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 hanging rock is here, a happy home for me." But he hadn't gone far when a rabbit jumped from behind a bush and scared him so much that he forgot the song. "Pokey, pokey, pokey," he sang. "No, that isn't it. Doki, doki, doki. No, no, no." The coyote turned tail and ran back to the lizard's place. He found her snoozing in the warm sunshine. "Hey, lizard, I forgot the song," yelped the coyote. "Teach me it again." The lizard did not answer. "I will ask you 3 more times," the coyote growled. "Then, if you don't sing your song, I will eat you up." The lizard kept his eyes closed and paid no attention. "Sing me that song." No answer. "Sing me that song." No answer. "Sing me that song." No answer. The coyote opened her big mouth and swallowed the lizard in one gulp. Then he found a soft patch of pine needles, lay down, and fell asleep. While he dozed, the lizard took out her little knife. It was the kind of knife lizards use to remove their old skin each year. She cut a hole in the coyote's side and wiggled out. The lizard looked around until she found a rock just her size and popped it into the coyote's belly. She took out her sewing needle and stitched them back together with a piece of sinew thread. Then she hurried home to Hanging Rock. At this time, believe it or not, the coyote was fast asleep. When he awoke, he trotted to the pond for a drink. "That little lizard sure is heavy," he complained. "She's hurting my insides. I wish I had never heard her silly, no-good song." How did it go? Back on her sunny rock, the lizard was singing, "Moki, moki, 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 hanging rock is here, a happy home for me." And that's the end of the sillier song, or books, stories from around the world, told by Judy Sierra. Okay, thanks. Things to consider when thinking about getting a pet. Before you get a pet, I want you to read a book, get it from the library, and if you're interested in a certain pet, look up that kind of pet and read about it. Find out what's needed for care. And then you need to find a place that's not too hot or not too cold in your house. That's really a moderate temperature. And you need to find out how much exercise it needs. Can you supply that? Does it need chew toys? Does it need fresh fruit and vegetables? Does it need medicine? How much space does it need? Is it growing? Is the aquarium big enough for its tail? Sometimes the tail will break off because the aquarium's not big enough. All pets can see the vet if needed. Depending on the pet, you may have to brush their coat out and brush their teeth and cut their toenails. Don't put males and females together if you don't want babies. If they are cats or dogs or horses, get them fixed. But all the pets require that you clean up after them frequently, and that means poop too. So you have to clean out their cage all the time. And don't let it sit and get bad and get maggots from flies. Don't let the animals get too fat, because that's very unhealthy. I know having a pet is a huge responsibility and a lot of work, but the payoff can be very rewarding, especially if you know if the animals show you affection or happiness. So then you know you did your job right. Okay, that's it for this.